Papers have been laid. Questions?
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, before I am to go to the private notice question, I'd like to place on record, sir, the opposition's disagreement with your unilateral decision to have decided on seating issues, which has been done in practice.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, I am on my feet. This is question time. There is no point for point of order. I have already ruled on one thing. If there is any ruling to be given, I'll give it at a later stage. You go directly, this is question time on the order paper. You go directly to the PNQ. You can come to this point at a later stage.
This point is alive. Thank you very much. And will always remain a live one. Now, I have given notice to the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs, External Communications, Minister of Rodrigues, Outer Island, Territorial Integrity. It's pretty long. And the question is as follows: whether in regard to law and order and security in Mauritius, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtain from the Commissioner of Police information as to the breakdown of the number of crimes, misdemeanors, including cases of drowning since the 1st of January 2023 to date. State if he has discussed the matter with the Commissioner of Police with a view to addressing the need for the effective policing thereof in the country.
Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, let me congratulate the Honourable Member on his appointment as the Leader of the Opposition, and I can wish him a long tenure as Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to thank the Honourable Leader of the Opposition for this private notice question on this very important issue of policing, law and order, and security, which is of national interest and of great concern to my government. This will give me an opportunity to inform the House and reassure the population in general of the efforts being deployed to maintain law and order and to protect the population. I also seize this opportunity to convey my deepest condolences to the bereaved families who have unfortunately lost their dear ones in tragic circumstances. Let me state in no unclear terms that any act of criminal nature will not be tolerated, and police will deal with criminal and other related cases with severity and will leave no stone unturned to bring the perpetrators to justice. By virtue of Section 2 of the Criminal Code, offences which the law punishes are crimes, misdemeanors, or contraventions. Pursuant to Section 4 thereof, crimes are offences punishable by A. Penal servitude, B. a fine exceeding 5,000 rupees. Pursuant to Section 5, misdemeanors are offences punishable by A. imprisonment for a term exceeding 10 days, B. a fine exceeding 5,000 rupees, and pursuant to Section 6, contraventions are offences punishable by A. imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 days, B. a fine not exceeding 5,000 rupees. Offences falling under the category of crime include offences against the person, such as murder, manslaughter, homicide, and offences against property committed with violence and other aggravating circumstances. Offences falling under the category of misdemeanor include offences such as simple larceny, assaults, and other crimes of less serious nature. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the House is aware, criminality is a global phenomenon. Virtually every country in the world is experiencing an increase in crime rate, especially with societal evolution. Any form of violence, including physical, emotional, financial, virtual, and sexual abuse committed against our citizens and foreigners alike are definitely a matter of serious concern to any government. We are also duty-bound to give additional protection to the most vulnerable individuals in our society. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard Part A of the question, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that since 1st of January 2023 to date, 6,609 crime cases and 50,922 misdemeanor cases have been reported to the police. For the same period, 28 cases of drowning have also been reported to the police. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that pursuant to Section 71 of the Constitution, I meet the Commissioner of Police on an almost daily basis, and briefings are carried out on the law and order situation in the country. As and when required, general directions of policy are given to the Commissioner of Police for maintenance of public safety and public order. Mr. Speaker, sir, to enhance security in our country, the police has developed and implemented strategies designed to address prevailing and emerging crimes. These proactive measures include crime prevention initiatives and active engagement of the community and other stakeholders. These measures include neighborhood policing at the level of each division, the conduct of handhold operations which aim at affording a higher level of protection to the elderly. During such operations, police visit elderly persons, including retired persons, especially those who live alone, with a view to ensuring their safety and security. Police have also recourse to technology by optimizing the use of safe city cameras for the identification and monitoring of suspicious characters likely to prey on our citizens and foreigners. Foot and mobile patrols are being carried out by regular police, Police du Tourisme, National Coast Guard, and Emergency Response Service at places frequently visited by foreigners, especially near hotels, tourist sites, coastal areas, amongst others. The Police du Tourisme and the police stations along coastal regions are carrying bike patrols at strategic locations, including tourist sites, industrial and commercial areas. A dedicated mobile app, namely Sécurité, has been put in place to provide assistance to elderly persons. The mobile application, Sécurité, can be downloaded on a smartphone, and it includes a panic button which allows for rapid intervention in emergency cases. The application, L'Espoir, has been put in place for victims of domestic violence. Regular checks are carried out on persons who are released from prisons and movements of habitual criminals, particularly those with modus oblast breaking, are regularly being monitored. Regular meetings are held to exchange information between field intelligence officers, CID officers, and ADSU officers to properly monitor habitual criminals and to identify crime hotspots. The bicycle patrol scheme has been restyled and revamped as the police bike patrol, whereby trained police bikers patrol their respective station areas at critical places during critical hours for crime prevention, law enforcement, sensitization, and citizens' contact. The acquisition of new equipment, such as new aircraft, helicopters, high-speed boats, police vehicles, and other specialized equipment for better surveillance, and also to enable the police officers to effectively carry out their investigations. The Police du Tourisme, Crime Prevention Unit, Brigade pour la Protection de la Famille, and local police carry out sensitization campaigns to raise awareness among the population in general and vulnerable groups in particular to reduce risk of victimization. The role and responsibilities of the Emergency Response Service has been reviewed for more effective and timely response to requests for police assistance to victims. With the coming into operation of the Child Sex Register Offender Act 2020, the movements of persons convicted for sexual offenses against children are being closely monitored in order to prevent them from reoffending. Police officers are provided with continuous training to improve service delivery, including assistance to vulnerable persons. And members of the public, including whistleblowers and informers, are being encouraged to use police toll-free 999 and anonymous hotline 148 to share information on illegal activities within the region. Mr. Speaker, sir, the police has also developed its strategic plan 2022-2025, where it has identified 9 strategic priority areas to enhance the police force, namely 1. Improving service delivery, 2. Reinforcing community safety and partnership, 3. Tackling serious organized and transnational crime, 4. Enhancing investigative capabilities, 5. Exploiting technology in policing, 6. Human resource training and development, 7. Managing disasters, 8. Building sustainability and resilience, and 9. Enhancing motivation and morale of personnel. Mr. Speaker, sir, moreover, in December 2023, the police carried out a threat assessment to identify prevailing and emerging crimes and other issues that could impact the law and order and community safety for the next 2 years. Subsequently, in the beginning of this year, control strategies and a policing plan have been designed to address prevailing and emerging crimes and other policing challenges. Mr. Speaker, sir, public support, involvement, and engagement in identification of perpetrators is always helpful, but nobody should take the law into his own hands. The rule of law should prevail at all times, and offenders prosecuted and brought before courts. Mr. Speaker, sir, with climate change and global warming, weather and sea conditions are likely to deteriorate and pose inherent risks and hazards to persons who venture at sea. These challenges can be addressed with the cooperation of one and all. We need to be vigilant and take as much precautions to avoid risking lives. It is unfortunate that several persons lost their lives at sea. To curb down this occurrence, several measures have been taken, such as heavy swell warning for Mauritius, Rodrigues, and Agalega are issued by the Mauritius Meteorological Services. The last warning was issued on Saturday, 13th of April, 2024, to take effect as from Sunday, 14th of April, until Tuesday, 16th of April, 2024. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center thereafter, on the same 13th of April 2024, issued a written communiqué for the attention of the public through the media. Special deployment of personnel, including lifesavers and divers, and equipment such as rapid intervention boats on public beaches and at sea from early morning to late in the evening. Deployment of senior officers on ground for monitoring of deployment of personnel, reinforcement of personnel at National Coast Guard posts during special occasions. Place-based policing is carried out with mobile patrols, reinforcing areas seeing heavy congregation. Mr. Speaker, sir, moreover, the National Coast Guard is working in close collaboration with the Beach Authority, the Fisheries Services, and the Tourism Authority for the development of a warning system using flags to dissuade public from swimming during bad weather conditions and the installation of beach watchtowers. Mr. Speaker, sir, when the government took office in 2014, the law and order situation was appalling, to say the least. Since then, the government has been making unprecedented and sustained efforts to clear the rot and build a more peaceful, safer, and secure Mauritius, and rekindle the waning trust of the public in our institutions. We have achieved a lot over the years, and the results are acknowledged regionally and internationally. As a matter of fact, Mauritius has achieved notable rankings in various international indices, particularly standing out as a leader in Africa. Some of the indices where Mauritius is well positioned include the following. The Global Peace Index, Mauritius ranks 23rd out of 163 countries globally in 2023. Mauritius has consistently performed well in the Mo Ibrahim Index of African Governance. According to the latest available data, Mauritius ranks first in Africa with a score of 74.9 out of 100 in overall governance. This ranking reflects the country's strong governance, which includes aspects such as safety and the rule of law, participation and human rights, sustainable economic opportunity, and human development. Mauritius' top position in the Mo Ibrahim Index demonstrates its commitment to good governance practices and its status as a leader in Africa in this regard. And the Index of Economic Freedom, Mauritius ranks 19th globally in 2024 and is the top country in Africa. Moreover, according to the latest Economist Intelligence Unit report, Mauritius is one of Africa's most stable democracies, with a high level of respect for political institutions. Mauritius is ranked 20th globally with a score of 8.14 ahead of countries of France, Spain, the United States, Portugal, and Belgium, but to name a few. In fact, Mauritius is the only country classified as a full democracy in the whole of Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mauritius is today a much safer place compared to the period under the Labour Party rule. The people of this country still recall the règne de la terreur of the Escadron de la Mort, which was operating in all impunity because of their proximity with power, a fact which the new leader of the opposition is well aware of. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government remains fully committed to guaranteeing security and law and order for the citizens of the country and foreigners as well. We will continue to adopt a zero-tolerance policy against drug trafficking and the drug mafia and all sorts of criminal activities. We will continue investing in the modernization of our police force and providing it with all the necessary resources for it to deliver effectively on its mandate of maintaining law and order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. May I ask the Honourable Prime Minister the following question? Since I believe we're on the same page and he agrees that there is a rise on the rate of crime, my question is about the drowning issue first. Back in 2018, when his late father was a member of Parliament, Sir Anil Jagnat was put a question B505, where he was asked for beach watchtowers, precisely in order to avoid drowning and to protect people from drowning, as opposed to the actual system of simply relying on National Coast Guards. And the answer of the then minister was the following, that this is being considered. Today I've heard the Prime Minister say beach watchtowers are being considered. Could you just tell us why is it that it is still being considered since 2018, and why is it that he is so slow at delivering on promises made as far back as 2018?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are doing, and we have done, in fact, what the Labour government has not even paid attention to. He's talking about drowning. In fact, we have done better, because there was no, I would say no warning at that time during the Labour days with regard to people who go to the seaside, whether they go for fishing or for a swim or for even just for a walk. What we have done is now the meteorological services, they regularly issue warning with regard to swells and recommend people not to venture at sea. And in fact, there have been during, I must say it is very unfortunate that during especially the recent past, in spite of the fact that there have been warnings to people not to venture at sea, whether fishermen or people to go for a swim, unfortunately there have been cases where people have drowned. So each one has to take his responsibility. The government, we are acting through institutions by warning people whenever there can be a risk of losing their lives, there is a danger, and each one of us then has to take the necessary precaution so that we don't take any risk. And therefore, now, as I have mentioned, adding to that, we are going to have the two other measures that are being worked out, is to have, at least at the specific location where there are normally people who attend the seaside for the beaches for swimming, a system, again, to warn people, and also in terms of security, for there to be a beach tower, so that there can be a monitoring of those people who are already at sea with lifesavers. This is being worked out.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, so it has taken, I'm happy that the Honourable Prime Minister confesses that it has taken more than 6 years for him to try to implement what his late father had promised, and he has failed. Now, coming to another issue, because the beach towers we're still watching and they're still not there. Now, with regards to the 4 deaths by drowning and the 2 who have disappeared, I've had the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, sir, of speaking to one of the young women, the mother of one of the young women. I do not know if the Honourable Prime Minister has had some time in his busy schedule to at least apologize to those people, because at one of those places, one of the places of Souffleur, there was not where those people, those youngsters, disappeared in the ocean. I have confirmation that there is no sign whatsoever on the beach to say that it is dangerous to go and venture. Why is it that the police under your watch, Prime Minister, why is it that the police under your watch, Prime Minister, has been caught asleep by not ensuring? I agree, each one has their own responsibility, but why is it that the police under your watch, Prime Minister, did not act responsibly by sending police officers or National Coast Guard officers there in order to see to it that citizens were protected? Instead of that, they were found asleep at the helm.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I obviously do not agree at all with the Honourable Leader of the Opposition who says that we have failed. He's talking about this issue of setting up warning at a specific location. What I have just answered, we have done more than that. We have done better than that. The better that we have done is when you have the meteorological services warning everybody that today or tomorrow or day after, it is very risky for you to go at sea. What do you want more than that? When you have a warning telling you not to go at sea and you go at sea? It is very unfortunate. It is very unfortunate that the Leader of the Opposition is trying to score cheap political points on the pain of people who have lost their close ones. This is what he is doing. I have not heard him saying anything about the responsibility of people whenever there is a warning. What about that? You have a warning, it's a bit like telling you not to venture and you still venture. And he's talking about there should be oh, come on. You have to be serious. And to be serious, you have to see what else can be done, in fact, to try to avert that people do not take any risks and eventually losing their lives.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with regards to the figures of crime, once again, there is a sense d'insécurité dans le pays, because people have seen, now we have the age of vigilantes, precisely because of rising frustration within the police force, inability to effectively police law and order. What does the Honourable Prime Minister have to say to this public who is today afraid to venture outside, when he himself has given figures that show that the crime rate is alarmingly on the increase? Apart from telling us beautiful words, what can he do in order to ensure that there is an independent assessment of the policing effectiveness of the police force by an independent body, instead of the police themselves passing proper judgment and giving beautiful words and hiding the truth? As in the United Kingdom, this exists. There is a report which is a police...
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, try to contain your question. Your question is too large. Stop it there. Let the Prime Minister reply.
Well, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, maybe he's now being selective in his memory. I don't know whether he can recall the days when he was in a Labour government. And yes, he was minister, he was in cabinet then. And there's more.
What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, when the Leader of the Opposition put his question, I did not interrupt him at all. In fact, I listened carefully to what he's saying. I think he should be also respectful to listen to my answer and
He
not
will
to
be-
interrupt.
He will be respectful.
And I will tell him at the time, I will answer to what he's saying from a sitting position, interrupting me. Let me give the figures for reste tranquille de ta. And you're talking about law and order, criminality. Look who is intervening. One who
What
has...
is happening? Honorable Juman, what is happening? This is Parliament, no place for bullying.
Okay.
Prime Minister, continue. Order everywhere.
Let me give the figures for crimes. Christian, be go raisa kete. Go raisa.
Honorable Juman, I'm taking action against you. I already warned you, and you are continuing. Please move out from the chamber. Continue. On the point of...
The point of order, I have just heard Honorable Joanna Béranger say Limem Intui Kisnan.
Order both sides of the House. Order, I am on my feet. Order. Honorable Joanna Béranger, if ever you have said these things, wait. Be polite, wait. If ever you have said these things, you please withdraw it instantly. If not, I'll verify and I'll take sanctions.
I never said that.
Thank you. Continue.
I was referring to figures for the year 2007. The number of crimes, 6,591. And misdemeanors, 41,748. For the year 2008, 6,340. And for misdemeanors, 42,771. Now, at that time, yes, I was in cabinet with the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. He never, no, at that time, later on, when you mentioned that I was in cabinet with you. But he never was concerned about the crime rate or the number of misdemeanors. Where was he then? Then everything was okay. Mauritius was all secure. So, and I don't want to go into the days of the Labour Party, when Navin Ramgoolam was Prime Minister. As an example.
Order! Order! Both sides of the House, order! Order! Order!
The situation, as an example, because there are so many examples that I can quote to this House, but as one example, the situation on Sunday, the 21st of February 1999, il y avait émeute dans ce pays. And I will just quote what Justice Matadin had said in his report. 3 Mauritians had lost their lives, many more were injured, and untold damage caused to property, public as well as private. And this is what he said. There is little doubt that the riots and disturbances revealed weaknesses in the capacity of the police to respond sufficiently firmly to the rioting. Who was Prime Minister at that time? Where was he? And now, exactly, now they are giving lessons.
So, time is over by a few minutes. Time is over by a few minutes. Prime Minister's question time.